Hey everyone, and welcome back for another video. I want to talk about the two new items I dropped in the previous event. I'm talking about the Christmas tree and the tank. These two items are pretty nice, I would say, but clearly not the best ones we have in the game. I made a lot of tests and I want to show you first the efficiency, how to have more efficiency on these items. How do they work, in fact? So first of all, we need to understand the skill. After the battle starts every 10 seconds, deal 6% of the max HP in damage to all enemies in front. That is not scaling on the enemy's max HP but on yours. And you have something special to increase that damage, in fact. If I check my skills, if I click on that icon in the top right corner, if I go on the point number 7, to prevent extreme damage, a percentage-based damage will be limited within a minimum and a maximum number based on the player's damage output. So damage scaling over your max HP are going to be affected by your final damage, which means that it's going to be affected by your attack. So these are things that I tried during that video. So let's start with the first point, and for that I unequipped all my pals and most of my skills. The goal is just to have some to survive in campaign and try the different stuff. For the first test, I had only the artifact equipped, so you can see the damage here, 6,000 billion damage and a bit more than that. So this is the score without anything modifying the damage. For the next try, I equipped another skill, 100 slashes, to increase my attack, and now you can see on the screen that the damage are way above the previous ones. The attack is increasing the damage based on your max HP. Then I was curious to know about something else. Here I was using a prophet class, and the class skill reduces the skill damage resistance of the targets within the range by 20%. So my goal was to try to see if I had more damage with the skill coming from the artifact and the mount when I was releasing that class skill here. So here I used both 100 slashes and the class skill, and I had exactly the same score as before, 13,000 billion damage. So in fact, it means that the skills on artifacts, mounts and back accessories are not considered as active skills, and this is something normal, right? But I wanted to verify it just in case. So I made all my tests in PvE so far. I'm gonna show you some PvP content, but right before, let me show you one build that is working really well in PvE. If you have the right stuff. I already made a video talking about that in detail, so if you want to have more detail about that build, you can check my previous video. Look at the damage taken by the enemies and the heals I'm receiving during that fight. If you want to do that, you need these two items, that candle artifact and that tiger back accessory. It's insane for every single PvE content, and way more efficient than the new artifacts and the new mount we just got. Then, during my test, I figured out that my score, my damage was different if I had less HP. So here, as you can see on the screen, 8,600 billion damage with the 100 slashes because my life is not full. So the damage are based on your current HP. And in my opinion, this is something bad for PvP because over time you are gonna lose some HP, right? It depends on your build, it depends on your opponent, but generally you are starting to lose some health, and so the efficiency of that artifact and the new mount is gonna be lowered. One more time, you can see here that with the same configuration, I have more damage when I have more health. Then I tried the new mount, the tank, and in fact it does almost the same. 4% max HP in damage to all enemies in front and every 5 seconds. The difference is that you are gonna cast that directly at the start of the battle, while when you are using the artifact, you are forced to wait 10 seconds. So I did the same test with the tank, and as you can see, you can cast that directly at the start, and it does just a bit less damage because 4% instead of 6%. Now with 100 slashes, you have way more damage one more time. And then I decided to compare it with that skill here, scaling the damage over the HP of the target. 1.5% of the target's max HP per second during 5 seconds. So I decided to try that. Let's check the difference. And that time, there was something really weird. I didn't know about that, but apparently here, every time it proc the effect of the blade pierce, you have multiple stages of damage. So 5,000 billion, around 4 to 5 times per tick. I don't understand how it does work, but apparently it looks better than the new artifact and the new mount. But it's gonna work only if the target has a lot of HP, right? Because if you are trying to use that versus a Plume Monarch in PvP, for example, they are not meant to have a lot of HP, so it's not gonna do the job. So then I decided to go in PvP and try these two items, so let's check it out. First test, no 100 slashes, and this is the damage coming from the tank, 3000 million HP, so this is ridiculous. That time I tried with 100 slashes and I had way more damage, 12,000 million damage, but this is still not that great because the target in front is a tank and he has like 500 billion HP, so here this is equivalent to 12 billion HP, so this is not a lot, but this is only an artifact and extra damage, right? Then I had another 12 billion damage, but that time with the artifact, and still it does almost no damage to the target because he's healing a lot during the fight, so it's not helpful to me. Then, as you can see here, during the fight, I'm losing a lot of health and most of my skills coming from the items are going on the shield of the target, so it does not deal any damage at all. And here, with less HP and 100 slashes, I was able to release only 8,000 million damage instead of 12,000 before. And if you are curious to know, this is the guy on who I was trying that build. So 522 billion HP and he has like 8% regeneration rate, which means that he was healing everything I was dealing to him all of a sudden. So that was really hard and it's not enough to beat that kind of player, at least with the build I had. So what do I think about the new artifact and the new mount in terms of damage? They are pretty nice because they deal more damage than my skills with a tanky build, so it's working better than using absolutely nothing, but there is something more to consider when you're using both the artifact and the mount. For example, here if I come back on the artifact, outside of dealing some pretty nice damage, it also reduces the attack speed, the energy regen and the pile attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds and every 10 seconds. So that effect is pretty nice, considering the fact that if you are using a tanky build, you don't have many solutions in terms of artifacts. If you are using this one, you are just gonna have a bit of extra heals during the run and you are gonna start losing some HP over time, so this is not the best one to use. And if you are a tanky build, maybe this one is great at the beginning if you are facing a Plum Monarch, because you are gonna dodge a lot of damage at the start of the battle and you're gonna get some increase in damage, especially if you are using some skill damage. So this is still, in my opinion, the best artifact versus Plum Monarchs. But if you are using a mage class, I think that this is the best one to use because you have a lot of extra damage even if it wasn't useful versus a player with way more power than me, but you have also these that can reduce the energy regen, the attack speed, and these two stats lowered are great for PvP in my opinion. But what about the mount? The mount is different because of course you are gonna deal some extra damage, so this is great, but the goal with a tanky build is to tank, and it doesn't help you to tank. It only helps to reduce the damage resistance of the target and the crit resistance, which means that you are gonna deal a bit more damage, but in my opinion this is not that great. I still prefer going with this one. This is by far the best one to help you tank some damage in PvP because you have a lot of shield and final damage resistance and increases in attack. So if you are using any build tanky, this is the best mount to use in my opinion. What about the other builds now? If you want to use an archer class, forget about using that Christmas tree. This is not gonna be helpful, okay? Because there are better options, and the best one to use in PvP is the Beast Raw Bow. I'm currently trying to build a really offensive archer class for PvP, and I am able to beat most of the tanky builds with my archer, but I still need to work on it, so I'm gonna showcase that a bit later in the future. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If it's the case, as always, don't forget to hit the like button. Have a really nice day, guys, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.